Hey guys, in this video, I'm gonna talk about how to grieve, and it's coming right now. If you're watching this video and you've lost your loved one, I wanna say first of all, I'm very sorry for your loss. I understand how it feels. I've lost my 4-year-old daughter, Nevaeh Shane, and I'll link a picture up here of her memories. Probably watching this because you want to know, how do I get rid of this feeling of grief? How do I move this big emotion that it's weighing you down? And you want to do something about it. You want to understand what it is, and you want to figure out, how do I go past this point, or how do I even move? How do I keep on going? This feeling, it's so heavy. I get it. It's so hard. Today I'm gonna give you 5 tips on how to grieve. This is not in any particular order. When we say, how do we grieve? Really, there's no right or wrong way of grieving. These are just some useful tips on how to grieve. Now, the first point is, do not compare yourself to anyone. Now, in this household, in my house, there was 5 of us, but now 4 of us. Now I'm grieving, my wife is grieving, my kids are grieving, and I'm gonna talk about that as well on the next video. We're both grieving very differently. In the beginning, when we first lost our daughter, a few months in, I was pretty much in bed all the time. By isolating myself, I wasn't doing anything. I was just crying myself to sleep. And my wife was doing all the work. She was cleaning the house, she was taking care of the kids, she was cooking. So we both were grieving on a very different level. But we both know that everyone is grieving differently, and we try to understand one another. And I know that could be frustrating as well. So you're grieving, your family's grieving, but at the same time you gotta do all these work, those housework, and you have a responsibility to do. What works for us is knowing that we're both grieving differently. Never compare ourselves to one another. This leads me to the second point. It's okay not to be okay. If someone asks how you're feeling, just tell them what you're feeling. If you're not happy, if you're sad, if you're lonely, if you're angry, frustrated, it's okay to feel that way. That's part of grieving. Allow yourself to express the real emotion that's in you. Don't be too hard on yourself. Feeling it's okay, but I wanna give you a warning. If you're having suicidal thoughts, if you're having dark thoughts and you're thinking of harming yourself, get off this video and get some help. Let me say that again. Get off this video and get some help. And that leads me to my third point. Get support. Get some help. That's the third point. Now guys, if you like this video, consider subscribing. With my experience, the first few days, weeks, months was so hard. And I said to myself, I need to get in touch with people who's been there. I need to talk to people who's going through the same thing as I am going through. I need to talk to people who's been there before. How did they do it? I know the feeling. It's hard. It's overwhelming. You get all these emotions and you don't know what to do with it. You don't know how to handle it. So get some help. Get some support. I've been talking to a psychologist. I've been talking to a bereavement counselor. And we're part of the bereavement group here in Vancouver. And it's parents talking to one another and talking about what works and what doesn't work for them in terms of grieving. Now, my bereavement counselor said this to me: consider thinking of grief as a friend. I don't know about you, but for me, when I'm grieving, I try to get rid of this feeling. I said, I don't want you. I want you out of my life. But what if, consider this, what if you think of it as a friend? You serve it a tea, you serve it a coffee. Think of it as someone who comes into your house uninvitedly and you did not welcome it, but it's with you for wherever you go. It's gonna be stuck with you. So rather than being so hard on the grief, why don't we talk to grief and say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna try and listen to why you're here in my life. And we all know why. We grieve because we love. That's the bottom point, right? The fourth point is embrace the mystery. Grief is a mystery. We will never understand it. But we try to learn what we can from it. But embrace it. Embrace the feeling. And sometimes we go to the internet and trying to search how to do this, how to do that, how to get rid of this, what do I need to do? But maybe It's time to just embrace and ask yourself, how do I feel? What can I do for myself? What is this feeling? Analyze it. Think about it. For me, I like to think about things. And I know sometimes it doesn't make sense, but you have to find yourself. You have to find what truly brings you joy and who are you in this process. Try and relearn yourself again, because life is never going to be the same. For us, my 4-year-old, she's no longer here. And I struggle with this. And I talked about this in the stages of grief. I'm going to post it up right up here. Stages of grief. There's the stages where you go into denial, you go in anger, bargaining, and depression, and acceptance. Again, these are just some guidelines, right? We all go through grief differently. So embrace the moment. Consider it a learning experience for yourself and getting to know who you are, your core value. The point is this: take your time. Take it one day at a time. Currently, I'm in my long-term disability because of depression, because of the loss of my 4-year-old daughter. And I know insurance puts a time limit on this. They want me to go, it's been a year now, and they want me to go back to work now. And I don't mind that, that's fine. But I'm saying is that take your time grieving. Nobody's allowed to tell you, let me repeat that, nobody's allowed to tell you that it will take you a certain times, a certain number of days, a certain number of weeks, a certain number of years. No, I don't agree with that at all. For me, it's gonna be a lifetime journey. I'm in this for the long run. So take your time, take care of yourself, do what you like to do. Do what you enjoy doing. Do what will benefit for you. Do some exercise. Pursue your hobby. For me, this YouTube channel, I'm making this YouTube channel to help people who out there who are grieving. To help people out there who don't know what to do with this big feeling. I'm here for you. And this is why I'm making these channels, these YouTube videos. I don't get paid to do this. I do this to remember my daughter. I do this to share the word, to educate people, because it's hard for me. It's hard for me when people tell me the things that they shouldn't be saying. So if you're liking the content of this channel, subscribe. Consider subscribing. Help me out. Help me out spread the word. Help me out to get these videos out so that we can educate people. So take your time. Take it one day at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 second at a time, and even 1 moment at a time. Take your time. Now, let me just recap the 5 points. Number 1, do not compare yourself to anyone. It's okay not to be okay. Number 3, get some support, get some help. Number 4, embrace that mystery of grief. And number 5, take your time. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you've enjoyed it, hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you later.